He didn't get it back for a while. So then, I guess we were going steady.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were really, and then we, not anything more.
Had the first kiss taken place yet? At that point in time?
Oh, yeah, that took place in, we went home for Christmas vacation, and there were...
When you were at Wesleyan?
Yeah.
Right?
And so I had a date with Mom, and there were 3 other couples. We went to the
Spanish
Tavern,
Tavern.
and that was for New Year's. It was a big date. So on New Year's we had our first kiss.
Ah, brought in the new year.
Yeah.
And Dad almost did the dishes that night.
I almost did what?
You
The
almost
dishes?
did the dishes that night.
I did? Oh, now I get it. Yeah, I better tell that story too. Well, this big date, you know, times when $10 was a lot of money, and Dad knew that I was going out. It was a big date, so he gave me $10 for the evening. So I had the misconception that it was $5 a piece for the 2 of us, and it was $10 a piece.
Oh.
And I was embarrassed that when the bill came around, mine was over $20, and I only had 10.
Oh, no.
What a way to start, you know, big
Yeah,
date.
So how'd you get out of that one?
Well, I borrowed some money from
Oh.
I think it was Jake Farland. So Jake, he wasn't going to Wesleyan. He was a working man, and he had plenty of money.
Well, on this Thanksgiving, we'll thank Jake Farland
Yeah,
for
right.
helping out.
So then the war came along.
And we were still in school.
That was in, what, 41?
Yeah, on Pearl Harbor Day we were in my sorority house studying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we really were.
You two look like you've been rehearsing that for a while. Like, what are we going to tell our folks? We were studying.
Then we started spending some time in the stacks at the library, figuring out what state would marry us without our parents' consent.
Oh.
And Indiana won. We went to Fort Wayne and were married on February 7th.
Well, we had quite a few dry runs at it first.
Oh, really?
The first time that we were supposed to elope, they had it all set up, and I guess about a day or 2 before, Mom got a call from, or a letter, I don't know which, that Grandpa Wright was going to be in Columbus, so he was going to drop over for the weekend.
Sometimes.
So that kind of put damn cloth on that one. So the next weekend, we planned that we would go ahead and do it. Everything was set up. We had transportation, and friends were going to help us go. They had the car. And we got there and went down to City Hall to get our license, and we found out you had to take a blood test, and then it would take about a week before you... So we had the blood test taken, came back to Wesleyan, so we made it the next weekend, but all by ourselves then. And so we...
In your father's car.
Yeah, my dad's car. And we were married... well, when we applied for the license, what did the clerk say?
Want to know your occupation. You were a student, I was a student, and she looked at us and said, "You dumb kids."
What a start. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then we spent the night in Columbus. Came back from Fort Wayne, spent the night in Columbus, and at the hotel, Dishler Law. And took Mom back to as we were coming into Columbus, the engine started ticking, tick, 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 tick. Oh, what's that? So I pulled in a gas station, and I checked, and there was no oil in case. So I put some oil in and started out, everything's okay. And didn't hear any noise, so I dropped Mom off at Wesleyan, and then I started back to Cleveland. I got about 10 miles out of Delaware, Ohio, and the car starts tick, 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 tick. So I burned the berries out of the car.
Oh, no.
And I didn't tell Grandpa right away what I'd done. And it wasn't until a little later, I think my mother was sick, and I wanted to take his mind off of that. And so I told him the whole story, and that I was the guy that burned out his bearings. Well, he said, "Well, why did you run off to get married?" And I couldn't give him a good answer. Because there was no, everybody kind of knew that we probably would get married eventually.
So then, that was February 7th. So, Dad came down the next weekend with my engagement ring.
Oh.
So we became engaged on
After you were
February
married.
14th.
Which happens to coincide with your birthday.
Yeah. I tried to, time it right.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Mom, I'm coming. It's the 14th. So now that you're engaged, it's time to plan a wedding, I guess, huh?
Well, then Dad enlisted in the Air Corps, but he didn't have to report. Did you know then that it wouldn't be till August?
Well, I did go right down and enlist right away. I tried to make up my mind what I wanted to enlist in. And whether it was the Navy, Air Corps, or the Army. And so I went down and took my tests early in April. See, I came home in February, and I enlisted in April. Meantime, Mom came home too. So
Went to work at the bank for $75 a month.
and I was making $100 a month at the Erie
Wow.
Railroad. But Uncle Sam paid me for. They swore you in as a cadet, but they didn't take you right away. It was August, from April till August, but they paid me $50 a month.
Whoa, that's
that
good.
was-
Spending
now we
money.
were in good shape. We didn't know what to do with all this money. Man, we had a nice little apartment in Lakewood.
Well, that was after our June wedding.
Yeah, all right, let's do
Yeah, slow down here, slow down.
Yeah, you go ahead, tell me what happened then.
Well, we didn't quite know what to do, but felt Dad was an only child. His mother and family would really like a wedding. And my family too. So.
How did both your families feel about you getting married? Everybody for it, or
Sure.
anybody against it?
No.
Okay.
So you see, we
Just
were
looking to dig up some dirt there,
No. So we were married at South Hills Baptist Church June 13th, 1945. been
with
a
me,
long
didn't you?
time.
There was somebody with me at Chippewa.
Somebody got sunburned with me at
Yeah,
Chippewa,
right.
like you do when you go scuba diving. It rained most of the week, and then the sun came out, and we had a couple days of sunshine, and we were scorched. And we were in sad shape when we went back to work. And we had a little furnished apartment on Clifton Boulevard in Lakewood. Bedroom, living room, and a bath, and a closet kitchen.
That was it.
Room for one.
Was it similar to that apartment Cindy and I had in Cape Cod? You remember that was basically 2 rooms?
Smaller.
Smaller than that? Whoa.
It was small. Until August 13, we left Nashville.
Oh, on what was to be Timmy's birthday, huh? That's interesting.
Yeah.
13's really stayed with us.
And then you could take over from there.
Well, I went to Nashville, Tennessee for classification. Look at this foot.
I can see it.
Yeah. Classification for pilot, bombardier, or navigator, and that took about 2 weeks. It was a lot of written examinations, a lot of physical examination, and coordination tests, things like that. And
I see all those accordion lessons came in for all that coordination you
Yeah,
built up there,
right,
all those
right.
accordion lessons. It helped out.
yeah.
There was a purpose for that.
And I happened to, I had to go to near the PX for something, and that's just when they came out and posted the notices, who was classified what. So there I was, classified pilot. So I got on the
Alright.
phone before I told anybody, called Mom, told her what had happened. And so then a few days later, and it really took us about 7 days to go from Nashville, Tennessee to San Antonio, Texas by rail car. And it was almost like cattle car. It's just the way it was. We had no sleeping arrangements, nothing. Our seat was it. I don't even remember how we ate, but it was a terrible journey.
But they kept putting you on sidings?
Yeah,
you say?
sidings, and we'd sit there for days at a time, or a day. Just wait till they would keep on moving us. And we arrived at San Antonio, Texas. They called it on the hill. It was between Randolph and Kelly Field, so we all feel we came from that area. Either the names are synonymous to the fellows that went through the same thing. And we went through 8 weeks of pre-flight training. After that, went to Sikeston, Missouri for primary, and I had an instructor that seemed like whenever I was in the airplane, he liked to fool around. And
Bean.
yeah, he was doing snap rolls right over his wife's house. And, I wasn't learning much, is what happened. And so it came to a 20-hour check ride. This was, after I soloed in about 7 or 8 hours. And the check ride comes up in 20 hours and 40 hours if you last that. So I was put up for the check ride, and I was, no, I didn't pass it. Said I wasn't coordinated. So I didn't understand that. I always felt I was pretty well gave my instructor 2 hours to get me straightened out. And then we found out what I was doing. When you're flying an airplane and